I guess it would help things if we were actually in the stream when we went live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of Fighter Stonks, brought to you by PredictionStrike. Every single week, we are going to be doing a weekly segment. As some of you may know, my guy Manpreet and I have joined forces and created the Deadlock podcast. Right now, we're on a bi-weekly format. We're going every other week on that show over there, talking about, just being fans of MMA, current events, news, less betting, having more fun. But we started Fighter Stonks to have like a fun little competition between the two of us over there, and things have been going well enough. PredictionStrike would like us to do more, so we're going to do these little afternoon blasts on the off Wednesdays here on Locke's channel. We're pretty excited about it. It's good times. We're having fun playing Fighter Stonks. Locke, what do you think of this whole thing? And sorry for butchering the intro to the show.
No worries. You probably would have done it better than me anyway. I would have been talking to dead air the entire time with us in the background. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this, man. Shout out to PredictionStrike for believing in the segment here. They know that we're bringing over some masses over to them, and rightfully so, man. It's about time that we had something available like this to us. It's been so often that you hear John Anik, especially talking about on his podcast, if I could buy stock in a fighter, it would be this guy. Well, now, John, you can buy stock in a fighter with PredictionStrike. So yeah, just as you guys see in the banner below, make sure you guys use promo code LOCK and they'll give you a free fighter stock with a deposit of $20 or more. But yeah, Clint hit it on the head, man. We're going to be doing this thing every single week. Obviously, on the off weeks, it's going to be on the Deadlock podcast, and then on the other weeks, it's going to be on my channel here. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to take this even more seriously. Now that we're going to be checking in on a week-to-week basis, we really got to, tighten up our bootstraps here, Clint, and try to give not just buying potential for us, but buying potential for the fans as well, right? Especially for the upcoming cards. I think it's very important that we highlight it, not from a betting perspective, but more so from a stock perspective. So yeah, I'll let you kick this thing off first in terms of, kind of overviewing your own portfolio, seeing if there's anything you want to buy or sell for this upcoming weekend of fights that we got coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of interesting, Locke. This is going to change the format just ever so slightly of what we do with us doing this week in and week out. It's going to be fun to kind of recap some of these things and look at it from a slightly different angle. So first thing, I guess, we'll take a look at, our portfolios. Like I said, this thing kicked off as a contest between Locke and myself to see who could have the most profit buying and selling these Fighter Stonks over the time. So I do have a decent stable here of fighters that I have amassed. The one that really hurts is I paid high on Askarov, and now I'm just kind of stuck sitting on that one because with that recent loss, he has really dipped down in the red here. That one's hurting me quite a bit, but I don't feel like it would be best to sell on him low because I do think we'll see this guy in the contender circle soon enough again in the near future. So I don't want to just kind of take my loss and go home with it. I'm hoping that stock will bounce back, but I've got guys like Marab, I've got my guy El Jefe, Jeff Molina, Jamal Hill, maybe one of my favorite purchases to this point, Aaron Blanchfield, Mike Trezano, Casey O'Neill. I'm worried about the injury, but she should be okay. JSP, I'm high on that one. I got Patty. I'm still that Ottman Azatar booking, man. I'm a little worried about my Patty.
You got
stock.
time.
Well,
you got
I got time to make a decision there, yeah. But what I've tried to do is kind of amass lots of young fighters that I think have room to grow in the future. So guys like David Onama, Jalen Turner, we saw Morose turn things around her last fight, had to snag Thug Nasty because the UFC just is behind this kid. But Terrence McKinney is another guy, and Lerone Murphy. These guys all fall kind of under that banner here for me. Dana did me dirty. Thought he was going to, another spot where I bought him expecting him to win his last fight. And what really sucks about it, Locke, is I'm excited that you and I are doing this weekly segment now because I purchased Dana the week before or 2 weeks out because we were doing our bi-weekly format. And then I ended up actually betting on Chris Gutierrez. Like after digging in, doing the research, it was a flyer that I took on Dana, my very early thought process. By Saturday, I had actually put good money on the other side of that fight. So I could have hopped off of this stock if we were doing a weekly show like we are now, but now I'm stuck with an L on Dana Batgirl and hoping that it bounces back the other direction. So lots of good stuff coming here in the future. The first couple moves that I want to make for everybody is I've decided I think it's time to sell on Mike Trezano. I'm not, he was one that I purchased ahead of his fight, and I really thought he was going to get the win. I thought the stock would go up, and then I'd kind of make a decision based on his next opponent as to what I wanted to do. Not a huge fan of his upcoming matchup. He hasn't been overly impressive in his last couple fights. And because we're going to be doing this weekly show, as you know, I have a massive stable of fighters. I want a little bit more capital to make some moves. This is one that I think that I can just kind of let go and get out from under. So I'm going to sell Mike Trizano at a loss, unfortunately, but I am going to get out from under that stock and free up a little bit of capital. Same thing here with Miss Kay Hansen. Now, I've been him and hawing on this one, Locke, if I'm being honest. I've been going back and forth because she has been dropped from the UFC. She is now in Invicta. And I do think that there is some opportunity for her stock to rise, taking out some trash cans in Invicta. I think she got to the UFC a little too quickly. I think she's very talented. There is still definitely some future upside for Kay, and I'm kind of convinced that we'll see her in the UFC again. However, I'm not sure how long that will be. So for the sake of our show, again, I want to free up some capital. I want to get out from under a stock that I'm really not overly confident in this point. I will eat the loss and get my money back here where I can on Kay Hansen. With those two things freeing me up just a little bit, I do have one purchase that I would like to make for the people on this show.
Oh, thank God.
Andre Fialho, this man has been making improvements. He's been making moves, making waves. We saw him with another thunderous round one knockout at UFC 274, and I think he's just going to continue to get better. He's a guy that I definitely want on my roster. I missed the boat a little bit. I did bet on him against Baeza, so this is a stock that I wish I had gotten in on a little bit sooner, but I think we're going to continue to see him rise, especially with him knocking on Dana's door saying, I want to be active, put me on the Singapore fight. He's one of these guys that could rack up 2 more knockouts before the end of the year. Could be a real quick turnaround for some upside, especially if he becomes one of Dana's boys. You know, if he's just stepping in there, knocking people out, taking heads off, Dana's going to continue to give him good, exciting matchups, and I think we'll see that number rise. So I'm going to go ahead and invest in Andre Fialho, and that's what I have got for the people today. How about you, man? Are you making any moves?
Yeah, I got a couple that I wanted to look at here. Let me just quickly share my screen 1 sec with you guys. There it is. So firstly, just to show off what my portfolio is, and then we'll go down and I'll let you guys know what I want to kind of buy or sell this week. Obviously, top of the board here, we got Magomed Ankalaev. I believe he has this fight scheduled, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he's going to be going up against Anthony Smith. So I'm going to be holding on to him. Sorry?
Not yet. No head-to-head yet. I'm still sitting on my Jamal Hill stock. We were hoping, but we got...
It's going to
happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, so I'm going to hold on to my Magomed Ankalaev stock at least until we get that Jamal Hill matchup so we can have some storyline behind this Fighter Stonks. Khamzat Chimaev, he's gained about, I believe, 23 cents for me since I purchased him. That was even before the Gilbert Burns fight. Nasruddin Imavov, obviously, you guys know that he was scheduled to fight Kelvin Gastelum back in April. Visa issues kept him out of it. In total, he's lost me about 2 cents so far, but I still believe he has a very bright future, so I'm going to hold on tight to that. Manol Firo, supposed to fight Jessica I believe a couple months ago as well. She had to pull out. I know she's going to continue to rise until she gets at least a title shot. And until that point happens, I'm holding on to that stock, Clint. She's already gave me 43%, 26% since I purchased her. So she's been quite nice to me. I'm going to hold on to her. Now, this is where I have to, take a dub here. I purchased Jared Cannonier before he fought Derek Brunson, and I was going to wait until they announced his title fight with Israel Adesanya. Seems like that's been announced now. So I'm going to take my, after processing fees and all that stuff, I'm going to take my dollar profit on Jared Cannonier and call it a day. Because I do think that he'll likely lose to Israel Adesanya, and this will probably be the peak of what we're going to get Cannonier at. So bye-bye, Killer Gorilla. Thank you for what you did against Derek Brunson. That's all I needed you for. Song Yadong, still holding on to him. Tafon and Chukri obviously came up short, so close by a hair against Azamat Mirzakhanov last time around. I do believe he'll be back, and I'm glad that he's back at his actual weight class, and he'll be able to perform much better there. Mike Malott is a streaking prospect. Big win over Mickey Gall last time around. May see the future barber get mad disrespected against Montana De La Rosa last time around, and I'm thriving off that 22 cent gain off of her so far. since I purchased her before that fight. What else do we got here? Jared Gordon obviously fell short against Grant Dawson. I do believe he'll still be able to pick up a couple wins. He's giving me about a 17-cent loss thus far. I'm going to hold on to him because I do think most matchups that he has, he'll be, he'll more than likely be the side. I love his style, love how he goes out there and pushes his opponents. I'm going to hold on to him. Clayton Rodriguez, the man duped me, Clint. He duped me. Shout out to you on cash and on CJ Vergara as well.
Plus 280, baby.
Plus 280, beautiful line. And I believe he took the KO, which was close at times, especially considering how gassed Clayton was. If he just stepped on the gas a little bit more in that third round, he likely would have gotten him out of there. But to still cash on plus 280.
It was 8-1. It was 8-1, and I was sitting there going, I thought I had it.
Mad respect to you for taking Vergara there. I'm going to hold on to Clayton, though. He's giving me about a 20-cent loss so far, but I do think that he'll have some favorable matchups moving forward. I still believe the kid has what it takes to, maybe not be a top 15 guy, but linger around that top 20 mark. So I'll give him that respect. Rakic obviously fighting this weekend. I'm holding on to him until at least he gets that title shot and then see who's going to be squaring off against. And then Nick Maximov, first fight of the night, 2-cent raise ever since I picked him up the other week. I'm holding on to him, man. He's boring, but he gets the job done. And that's all that matters to me. So the fighter that I actually want to purchase, and you got to confirm with me whether you purchased this fighter or not already, Clint.
That's always the catch. We need like a spreadsheet because we're going to get to the point where we're like overlapping fighters at some point soon here.
I'm going with my guy, Ion Cutelaba. After running the tape last night, I love the work he's been doing over there at Extreme Couture. Eric Nixick has really gotten his game together, really, reminding him that he shouldn't be going berserker mode right off the top because he has great wrestling. And as long as he can, portion out his cardio well enough or manage his gas tank well enough over 15 minutes, he's going to be a handful for a lot of people. Great wrestling, great power, and obviously devastating ground and pound. I think he has a perfect matchup for him this weekend against Ryan Spann. So I'd rather just jump on that right now before I miss out on anything.
I do not have Ion Cutelaba, so he's all yours.
I'm taking Ion Cutelaba there. Even since, May 9th, he was $1.34. Now he's $1.56. So he's already gained about 22 cents over the last couple of days here. And I think people are starting to see that, he could finally be tapping into that potential a lot of people expected him to have. And yeah, I think that's going to be a wrap on my end here in terms of who I got to purchase, sell, or buy, Clint. I'm looking forward to doing this on a week-to-week basis, man. Prediction Strike is the real deal. I love everything that they're doing, and I'm looking forward to evolving this game more and more that we do it, right? I think at a certain point, we should start to open it up to being able to purchase more than one stock on a fighter, and we can kind of diversify our portfolio that way, sell like half a stock on somebody so that we still have maybe a stock or two more, thinking that, okay, maybe they are going to get better, but let me just try to take a little bit of the profits first before I completely sell on them.
I completely agree. You and I are going to have to revisit our rules for the game that we want to play, especially because this is going to become a larger segment here for us. But for the people watching, we'll come up with what we're going to do as far as the Deadlock podcast and how the game for us is going to evolve moving forward. But for you, if you just want to get in the game and purchase some of these fighter stocks, don't forget they've got all the other major sports. So you can get basketball, baseball players, football. You can buy stock in anybody who you think is going to rise and fall. And I don't know if anybody else has been addicted to, fantasy mock drafts for the rookies and things like that for the NFL since they just got that done. There's a lot of opportunity in other sports to buy low on these fighters and then be able to have an option to actually make real live money. Locke and I started with a $50 bankroll, so we are buying one stock at a time per fighter. That's just the rules as they are set right now. But if you wanted to invest more, load up 50 or $100 on a fighter that's going to have a good weekend. They shoot up $1 worth of value, and then a lot of people dump off after something like that. That seems to be a solid strategy for people. Locke, if you don't mind, I want to extend the show just a minute more.
Yeah, let's go.
Because some of the people may not have seen things like this, and I want to maybe bring to light some of the notable fighters who people would be curious about. Because a lot of what we have been doing is buying low and looking for people whose value is going to go up. But a lot of people are going to look at this maybe for the first time and go, you know what, I wonder what the champions look like. Because neither you or I have purchased many of them because they start at such a high asking price. So someone like Charles do Bronx, holy crap. If you want to click on this little tab here, the 1-year tab, Prediction Strike has not been around that long. So since his inception, he came in at $5, and the champ Charlie O is currently worth $7.54 per stock. You can watch the graph and you can shorten it by 3 months or even just 1 month to see the growth of that stock. So he has been a money train for anybody who got in on him early. Michael Chandler, we just saw what he was able to do. He's currently sitting about 381. Kind of surprised that so many people jumped off of him. Like I said, we see this a lot on Prediction Strike. After a win, their value will peak, people will sell, and that number will come back down just a little bit. So Chandler, not crazy expensive at this point in time. Somebody in the chat was mentioning Nate Diaz. He's currently worth $2. And it doesn't look like there's been a whole lot of movement. He hasn't been super active. Retirement fight coming up. This is one I would caution people, maybe don't get involved with. Because even if he does win his next fight, what's next for Nate Diaz? Probably not a lot. We're thinking it's his last UFC fight. I don't know, maybe he does bare knuckle FC or something like that, but you're never going to see much of a return on this particular stock. Ye old Conor McGregor must be mentioned. $4.06 at this point, doing nothing. He is increased by 0.5%, doing absolutely fuck all. Conor McGregor has gone up in value. So do with that what you will. But another notable champion, Kamaru Usman, sits at $6.18. You know, these are spots where, you know, where can this guy really go from here? You know, is kind of the question you have to ask yourself when buying and selling these fighter stocks. He's already on top of the world defending his belt. You know, honestly, in my opinion, you can kind of only go down from here. Like, is he going to go up even if he derails Hamzat? Maybe he goes up to 650. I just don't know that you're going to ever get much return on a stock like Kamaru Usman. Maybe I'm wrong. And he becomes the GOAT at 170 and just continues to chip away and fly up the rankings. Same thing kind of here with Israel Adesanya. You see that initial spike, and it's just kind of trickled down since that point. And he's $7 is kind of that cutoff point. A lot of stocks over here with the MMA fighters, they don't get up to that $7 mark. So if you're looking for value, we're looking between the 50 cent and $2 range and hoping to get up into that $5 and $6 range at some point down the road. So if anybody has any questions or anything like that, stick them in the chat. I see Brock saying Loopy. She's already on my roster, buddy. I already snagged.
I was about to say that on the last minute. I'm like, Clint, I might have a last minute purchase, and then I remember you did actually purchase.
I got her last time around, Luck. She's with me already on the roster.
I'm looking forward to seeing her stock over the next couple months, especially over the next couple matchups, man. Do you mind quickly checking how much of an increase you've already gotten on her since you purchased her? Because I do believe you must see a solid amount of growth for her there.
Absolutely. So like I said, they sort it here by sport. So tab over to my MMA stocks, and I know she's way down here at the bottom since she's relatively new. 119, and I've had a 10-cent return, just over 9%. I think that was a pretty impressive win. I'm kind of a little disappointed. I was hoping that would be a bit higher of a number here for me. But let's be honest, what she did to Carnelossi, her next opponent's getting the same. I fully expect this stock to continue rising, and I think another one worth taking a peek at here is like my guy Jamal Hill. I've had a 26% return on Jamal since purchasing him. So I think this may be my most successful stock at this point, Luck. I think Jamal has gotten me the biggest return on investment, and diamond hands, baby. We're not going anywhere. I'm hanging on to him.
I think I just said sayonara to my biggest one with Jared Cannonier there, but that was the point, man. I was looking for him to get that big win, get that title shot. I don't think he's going to beat Israel, so let's get rid of it. That's fine.
Yep.
And just a quick reminder to everybody. So we're going to be continuing this. This is a weekly segment that we do, but on the off weeks that we're not doing it on my channel here, we're doing it on the Deadlock podcast. The link to that channel is in the description below. Make sure you guys subscribe over there and join us every evening on Wednesdays on a bi-weekly format, essentially. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time is when we go live for that Deadlock podcast. A full hour of us just being fans, but we also squeeze in a Fighter Stonks segment for you guys. So we're doing double duty here with the Fighter Stonks, but all thanks to Prediction Strike because they they believe in us, they like what we're doing, and we want to continue to be one of the staples in their promotion, because I love what they're doing. Clint loves what they're doing, and I think it's truly going to pick up even more and more. The reason we're at $7 right now in terms of the peak that you'll see a fighter at is because we're still in the infancy stage. As more people start to jump on this, we're going to see that number start to rise as there's more money flooding into the market. I know it's just a matter of time. There's fighters that are pushing it now. There's a bunch of other podcasters that are pushing it now. So we're in the pioneer stage right now. Let's keep this thing moving along. Jump on while you guys can, and get on those early stocks while you can, because as soon as more people jump on, you're going to see those stocks start to go up. So yeah, make sure you guys use that promo code LOCK so you guys know that. So Prediction Strike knows that we sent them over to you guys, or you guys said, you know what it is. I'm trying to just get through this goddamn stream, Clint, because I got to get back to tape studying, because I got my other podcast to record very shortly as well.
I hear you, Locke. With that, we can dip out, everybody. You'll look forward to a 10 to 20 minute real quick live stream every week here on Locke's, or every other week here on Locke's channel. Check out the Deadlock podcast. We have fun. There's power hours, personal stories. We're doing all kinds of crazy shit over there. It's a good show. Thank you guys for all tuning in for this first one here today, and we'll see you not next week, the week after, for another Fighter Stonks segment.
See you guys
later.